Ladies and gentlemen, it's me, the Einstein of Wall Street, here from the floor of the New York Stock Exchange, the greatest financial institution in the world. The ceiling, the floor. Ladies and gentlemen, we're closing out maybe one of the few days. I'm not calling this a sell-off by any means. It's a very shallow pullback at best, with the S&P down 23 handles, the Dow up 100 here with 1.2 billion on the tape. I would say it's by 2-to-1 in volume declines versus advances. Yes, there's a lot of red on the screen, but that's off record highs across the board earlier in the day, right? If you can see that little bit of green on the screen up there, and we did pull back. We saw record highs hitting 4,000 on gold, spectacular. We saw 125,000 on Bitcoin, spectacular. And then, intraday, we hit 47,000 on the Dow intraday yesterday or the day before, and we've yet to close above that point. But look, at the end of the day, I wouldn't call this even a pullback. Anything. We've seen actually 4 days where the market was incredibly slightly red over the last, weeks and weeks. And those are super shallow pullbacks at best. They're nothing burgers across the board. So, with all the other record highs across the board, especially in other indices and other commodities. I mean, gold hitting 4,000, spectacular. Normally, it would be a flight to safety, as a hedge against markets that were sort of weaker. That's not happening. They're literally buying everything together in concert, whether it's crypto, whether it's gold, whether it's equities, whether it's futures. They're just buying it. They're buying it. We're in the fourth quarter, fresh money coming into the market. There's this just enthusiasm about it. We're seeing it, there was a couple of little bits of tidbits of baddish news around some of the tech and some Nvidia and some Oracle and whatnot, but they deeply offset by all the positive things that have come out over the last number of weeks about the massive CapEx expenditure and commitment by big tech into the AI space and data centers and building that. And we've seen huge commitments across the board from the Microsoft and the Oracles and the Metas and the Googles and the Nvidia, and how the chip space looks and how the demand is going to be there. And if markets are forward looking at best, we're going to be starting having earnings out of the gate. What we need to be aware of is, are we going to see that tariffs have sort of snuck under the radar and is starting to affect earnings coming out of the gate, whether it's the banks first or whatever comes after that? That is what one would be worried about. I've always talked about, is there anything they could throw at this market that would knock it off its beam? And I don't know if there is. That would be one thing, that we finally see whatever is going to come of tariffs and how that affects on the consumer and the business and everything. That's all I got to say. Apex is in the house. Wall Street Global's in the house. I love you all. Have a great night.